This is the road to 2019. Every Friday night at 9:30, we take a look at all the twists and turns, speed bumps and expressways on the path to that big general election in 2019. At least we're assuming it's 2019. Who knows? Depending on what happens tomorrow, it could be advanced. That's at least one big theory. So it's very clear what we should be talking about this week when we look at the road to 2019. And that's obviously this very major pit stop or highway stop, or call it whatever you want, which are the Karnataka elections. Voting tomorrow, counting will be on the 15th. We'll know what exactly happens. Exit polls will be out by I think 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock tomorrow, so we'll get some take. Now, exit polls aren't always correct, but by tomorrow evening, we'll have some sense of what Karnataka has said. Over the course of the next 1 hour, we'll take a close look at Karnataka itself, what we think could happen, could not happen, may happen. And we'll certainly be looking at whatever the implication of Karnataka is on the general election, because that's the overall theme that we're going to be doing all year long. But just first, some quick updates on everything that's happening on that Karnataka election. For starters, there's been a big fallout of that entire fake voter ID problem in Karnataka. Voting in the Nagar has been deferred. 9,000 voter IDs, you will remember, were seized from a flat, and the BJP had demanded the scrapping of the poll in Nagar. The Election Commission has now said that voting will be taking place on the 28th of May, and this is something which we must keep in mind. So basically it means that in the Karnataka voting tomorrow, which is being called a semi-final, it's 222 seats essentially that will be up for grabs. One candidate had died, and now one seat is going to be postponed. We'll know the result of that a little later. This essentially is what the Election Commission had to say while announcing that particular deferment.
Election Commission is to take a very extraordinary step to instill purity in election and to remove pernicious effect of money and to maintain the sanctity of elections. And as per the constitutional norm, the polls in this constituency, 154 Rajrajeshwari Nagar Assembly constituency in Karnataka, shall be deferred for the time being.
The very act of illegal collection of thousands of electoral photo identity cards from voters in the vulnerable community seems to be a deliberate and systematic attempt to make large-scale voters captive to the collecting persons and or candidates, either to vote with inducement for them or coerce them not to vote at all. There cannot be a clearer indictment of the Congress party. मैं समझता हूं इतना घोर अपराध शायद ही मैंने पहले इतने वर्षों में भारतीय राजनीति में देखा होगा.
All right, so charges going back and forth. We'll try and make some sense of them over the course of the next 1 hour as well. The role of money power and liquor power. If I told you some of the stories which are doing the rounds of money and liquor and all that thing on the eve of polling, it will probably make your toenails curl. It's still not proven, of course, that necessarily always influences voters, that last minute circulation of liquor or things like that. But this is a major event that has happened, and the Election Commission has now deferred the polling in that particular one seat. Well, Maya is joining us now. Maya Sharma, before I come to all of our guests who are going to help us analyze what's happening in Karnataka, Maya is going to tell us exactly seat by Maya, 222 seats. Quickly tell us who's winning each and every one of them. You've got 10 minutes. Start now.
How much time do I have, Vikram? Well, yes, since it's only 222 seats now instead of 224, I probably do have the time. The twist and turn of Rajrajeshwari Nagar, well, that was enormous. We have, of course, had one seat already deferred because of the death of Vijay Kumar, the candidate in Jayanagar in South Bengaluru, the BJP candidate who died a few days ago. But now Rajrajeshwari Nagar, the charges thrown by the BJP seem to have stuck. They accused the Congress of being behind this not fake voter IDs. These were all genuine voter ID cards. The Election Commission looking at almost 10,000 cards and saying that most of them, all of them in fact, were genuine. And they say that the voters from whom they were taken, they went and did actual physical verification of many of them. And it turns out that those voter cards seem to have been exchanged for saris, pressure cookers, water cans, shorts, half pants, trousers, caps, t-shirts. Those people seem to have handed over their original voter ID cards for precisely that. So that is why the Election Commission decided to say, let's not have Rajarajeshwari Nagar now either. So only 222 seats voting tomorrow, but a huge amount of security out, a lot of security out in the state, across the state. The figures are just amazing in terms of the thousands of security people that will be out on the road. And also the voting to start at 7 in the morning tomorrow. By 6 o'clock, all the voting will be done, and we'll know on the 15th who will be the next government. Of course, I do know myself, Vikram, but I think I'll keep it a secret for now.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, you're getting away from that constituency by constituency listing, Maya. Okay, we'll discuss it offline just after the show. But can I ask you something else? We heard the Election Commission saying we must crack down on money, power and issues like that. Obviously, it's something which comes up election after election. And on the eve of elections, there's always this talk about, vans going from one side to the other, ferrying cash, ferrying, liquor, all sorts of things. Are you picking up noises, a lot of that happening, or not that much? Was Ara Nagar, whatever was apparently happening out there, is that an isolated example, or is it more common than people would think?
Indeed, we are hearing a lot of question of exchange of cash, whether the people will actually vote for the people who are giving them cash and items. Well, that is not clear, but the absolute amount of material that is being seized by the EC and by the police in this election, it's really mind-boggling in terms of just how much is being seized, how much is being actually seized by the Election Commission and by other people as well. We're talking about hundreds of crores worth of liquor, hundreds of crores worth of cash, of course, gold jewelry, clothing, cookers, the amount of things that have actually been seized by the Election Commission this time round, in violation of the Model Code of Conduct, seized by the police, by the Income Tax Department, which also had officers on the job. It's really been amazing, the amount of stuff that has been seized. And that is also a cause of concern as well, because yes, it's not necessarily guaranteed that people who receive things will actually vote for them. But let me just give you some of the figures here. 160 crores worth of seizures have been made. 166 crores, 25,000 litres of alcohol, cash seizure of 13 crores. Items worth another 19 crores were seized, including clothes, mixer grinders, caps, grinder machines. I mean, there's been a lot of money seized in this election. Certainly a lot of money going around as parties try to buy the votes of the voters here.
All right, Maya, we'll allow you to get away for the moment. Remember, you have to send me that list, 222 constituencies, who's winning in each and every one of them, and I will tally it on the 15th after that. Maya Sharma joining us there from Bengaluru. It's going to be a long day tomorrow. But let me welcome all of our guests on. Yogendra Yadav joining us, founder of Swaraj Abhiyan, tracked more elections than any of us can count and can tell us whether the money is more or less than it has been. Shogata Srinivas Raju, founder of the State Southward, is joining us as well. Pawan Khera here, spokesperson of the Congress Party. Danish Ali, I see him there, spokesperson of the JDS. Mr. Madhusudan, leader of the BJP. And Mr. Balashankar here, political analyst. Great to have all of you with us. Yogendra, just a couple of things before we start getting into who's winning, who's losing, and what implications this might have for 2019, which is at the end of the day the theme of this particular program. This entire question of cash and liquor and and it being a major factor. There's always a lot of cash exchange, but in your own experience, and you've tracked so many elections, does it often happen that people will take the cash and take the liquor and not actually vote for whoever they are promising? Or is it something that is genuinely a factor in many elections?
Vikram, first of all, I think we should acknowledge that what Maya has said is something very significant. Election expenditures, of course, have been going up. But earlier, we used to talk of lakhs, For the last 4-5 years, people started saying even in an MLA election, crores are being spent. And this time when I was in Karnataka, because our own party is contesting, I heard people talk minimally of tens of crores of rupees being spent by each of the major party candidates in each place. Now remember, an assembly constituency, tens of crores being spent by each candidate. I mean, this is obnoxious. What's happening to our democracy? How can an ordinary person even think of contesting ever? So something very significant is happening here, something that we should all be very, very worried about. Yes, more money does not always mean that someone who spends more money wins. In cases of electoral waves, money ceases to be a factor. But if there is no one clear wave, then at the local level, at a constituency level, I mean, you may not win the entire state with just money. But yes, individual candidates do hope and make a difference. And what really is happening, as Maya's statement comes out, is that the minimum required for being viable gets raised every time. And everyone who cannot meet that minimum has been thrown out, as I saw with many of the alternative candidates who I was campaigning for. So that's something we all need to really worry about, even if money alone cannot get election results. But let me just quickly also add, what we have seen,
So you're saying even if money alone can't win you an election, it does become a factor. And Mr. Madhusudan, let me get you in on that, because in this particular case, R.R. Nagar, we just heard Piyush Goyal and others saying that it's the Congress party which is responsible for it. But looking at it at a larger level, not just in Karnataka, this could be a factor in the race to 2019. It's very clear to everybody that if it comes to spending money, I'm not just saying underhand, beneath the table or whatever, if it comes to spending power, nobody can come close to competing with the BJP. So is that a big long-term advantage, that the BJP will always be able to outspend any of its rivals?
No, sir, I don't think. Because it is now Congress in power in the state of Karnataka. For a big time bungling of records, not only cash, not only gifts, the very electoral role has been in fact concocted here. Thousands of voters have been inducted into the electoral roll. I think today Election Commission has in fact categorically told that a truck worth about 95 lakhs of rupees worth of gifts have come to the constituency, point number one, and thousands of voter electoral voter ID cards have been seized.
Yeah.
Not only that, about more than 1 lakh of people, they simply suspect their name have been included in the voters list. All these things have to be looked into. I think any other party which is not in power will not be able to do such a big manipulation in any state, as a matter of fact.
But
BJP has won.
I get your point. I get your point, and what you're saying is certainly relevant. I'm going to come back to extrapolating this through the rest of the country, because if what you're saying is correct, then logically speaking, in the race to 2019, the BJP will have an edge because it's in power at the center and it's in the power of 21 of the states of the country. So that argument in other parts of the country will work in the other way. But Pawan Khera, let's just stick to this particular issue and Karnataka. By the way, the issue of raising money and having money to be able to raise is another reason why the Congress might want to win Karnataka. It's the one big state that you are still in power in. Is money factor a major issue?
No.
And how do you respond to Piyush Goyal's and others' charges about R.R. Nagar?
As far as, let's start from R.R. Nagar. Manjula's own son comes on camera and says, my mother belongs to the BJP, I belong to the BJP, my cousin is contesting on a BJP ticket, it's my flat. And all those iCards recovered in the flat owned by the BJP leader.
No,
How can Congress have any role in that? I mean, it's laughable. But anyway, so be it. Coming to money. Vikram,
actually, let's just finish R.R. Nagar while we are on the subject.
Sure.
We'll come to broader image.
Sure.
Mr. Madhusudan, you want to respond to that? He says flat is BJP, is all the people there.
One should not lie. When the seizure has taken place, all the laptops, all the computers had the logo, had the photo of Muniratnam Naidu. And all the forums that have been collected there and the counterfiles, it all belonged to Congress. And
Vikram,
the voter ID cards which have been rubber banded, which has been in fact tied up.
Do you think we are so stupid? Do you think we are so stupid that we'll do all this in a flat owned by the BJP and leave all the logos and visiting cards and what have you behind for you? Are we so stupid?
Nowadays,
I mean, come on. Please talk sense. I understand you are upset. I understand you are nervous. I understand you are looking at a huge defeat there. But please talk sense. Please talk sense. Nobody in his right senses will leave the visiting card behind. And why would we use a BJP leader's flat to do whatever we had to? People know the truth.
Okay.
You also know the truth. So let's not argue on the truth.
Mr. Madhusudan, yeah, just respond to that. Then I'm going to try and get Danish Ali to break this logjam. Yeah.
It belonged there. In fact, it belonged to Congress, and it is the state now. It is state government still owned by Congress, and the police have arrested a Congress corporator who are being interrogated now.
Isn't Manjula a leader from the BJP? Wasn't she a corporator from the BJP? Isn't her son a member of the BJP? Isn't her nephew contesting on a BJP ticket?
You leave all those stories, it has no relevance. It has no relevance.
Manjula's son comes on TV and says it's our flat and we are BJP. Full stop.
Okay, one sec. Danish Ali, why don't I get you in? Danish Ali, the BJP and the Congress can contest, what has led to this deferment in RR Nagar. No one is actually saying it's the Janata Dal S which is responsible one way or the other. What's your take on this? Who do you think is the responsible party out here?
Vikram, nobody can deny that there was a wrongdoing in the RR Nagar constituency, and whether it's a Congress or a BJP, the only difference is I am talking about the larger part of the than RR Nagar. See, the agencies on the state government's disposal, they are being misused by the state government, by Congress. Agencies on the central government's disposal, they are being misused by the central government. I'll give you a small example. Today in Hassan, there was a huge consignment of liquor was seized, and the officer who seized that liquor was attacked by the Congress gundas, and the FIR has been lodged. That officer is in the hospital, but the DC is unable to take any action because he is taking the orders from the state government. At the same time, when we are complaining that the huge amount of cash is being distributed by the BJP leaders, there no agency is raiding that.
Okay.
If some opposition party is caught in distributing the cash, the income tax department is raiding that. See, it's a larger issue. If this type of things goes on, whatever may be the result of Karnataka, but in the next Lok Sabha election, people will lose the faith in the democracy. That is why JDS is of the opinion that there should be a ceiling, a curb on the expenditure of the political parties also. And unfortunately, we are a small party. Neither the election commission listens to us, nor in parliament we are being heard. Both the national parties get together and time to time they amend the Representations of People Act. While it's a donation,
Danish, I'm going to come to the others. Let me just get the others in. Yogendra Yadav, that briefly is what I think you were also alluding to. But the problem is, the minute you're having official caps, it means that underhand or underground activity and spending only goes up. Whatever, I mean, there are ceilings in place right now. Those ceilings are violated, which is why you're having all of this cash and surreptitious activity that is taking place in the dark of the night, and presumably will happen all night tonight.
Vikram, one is the question of overall ceiling, and someone could say, look, the existing limit is too little, it should be raised and so on and so forth. All that is for legitimate expenditure, not for bribing the voters. What is happening in Karnataka is open bribing of voters. Liquor is flowing. I'm very happy the Election Commission has acted in one constituency. No matter who's guilty, they'll find it out. Okay. But what about the remaining 222? I was very happy to hear from Mr. Danish Ali that he wants some ceiling on electoral expenditure. But Mr. Ali, I happened to visit a constituency, Melkote, where your party is contesting largely against my party. And to think about you're saying we are a small party, not too much money should be spent. This looks like a joke, Mr. Ali, because crores and crores are being spent. We have written to the Election Commission pointing out, given evidence of how money is being distributed openly.
Okay.
What about those things? And Vikram, that's not a question of upper limit, ceiling, correct, or under the table. You can't possibly accept open bribing, which is going on.
All right, let me just shift the focus now to a bit about what's actually going to happen tomorrow, who's going to vote for whom and what impact it has. Shugata, let me get you in on that point. First of all, Shugata, does all of this actually make a difference? And I'm going to get Mr. Balashankar in on that as well. Does all of this actually make a difference? Do the voters care about people, who's spending what and underhand activity going? Corruption, for example, is that itself an issue? Is the BJP going to benefit from getting back the Reddy brothers and Yediyurappa, irrespective of whatever some of the charges have been? What's your take on what's going to happen tomorrow?
Vikram, if you look at the candidates who have been given tickets by all the three major parties, all of them are crorpatis, and all of them who have an ability to sort of distribute money or a different kind of patronage to the voters whom they are sort of seeking for tomorrow. So each one of them is equipped to spend crores and crores of rupees. So in some way it's going to cancel out. I think the spending factor is going to get cancelled out. That's my guess. So people have also been tutored in the last 5 or 10 years. See, Mr. Madhusudan is waxing very eloquent, but the cost of elections in Karnataka went up only after the Reddy brothers entered the scene, electoral politics in 2004 onwards. So the cost per vote, there is no official figure on that, but this particular election they're saying it's anywhere in the range of 500 rupees to 2,000 rupees. And and most of the candidates who are contesting, it's our understanding that they have the ability to spend that kind of money. So all the three parties are guilty of having induced the voters to vote, after taking money or after taking gifts or after being benefited in a certain way. So I think no political party here can claim a moral,
okay. Mr. Balashankar, let me just get you in on that point.
We are holier than
it's a slightly cynical way of looking at things. In 2013, the last time we had the election, we are seeing now the graphics. So let's come back to who's going to win. 2013, when the Congress won this very comfortably, there is a big difference between them and now. The Reddy brothers and others, Yediyurappa was not part of the BJP at that stage. Some people feel that by getting them back in, the BJP has hurt its image. The entire anti-corruption plank that the BJP has been fighting, Mr. Narendra Modi has said it's one of the key planks for him at the center. It's going to get eroded by whatever's happening in Karnataka. Would you agree with that?
See, the point is, the last election, BJP had a problem that there was an internal decision. Yediyurappa was out, Reddy brothers were out, and some other people also contesting against the BJP who were otherwise in the BJP fold. But this time, the electoral arithmetic is on BJP's side, and also the sentiment is on BJP side, because Karnataka has a history of electing new government, and Congress has not been fighting on performance. The saddest part is the Congress was very keen on shifting the goalpost and also talking about issues which are divisive and creating an atmosphere that electoral performance will be dictated not by the performance at the administrative level, but by manipulation of small caste factors, religious factors, and also money power. For the last
it's
1
year,
year,
as if the BJP doesn't do manipulation on religious and other grounds. So
no,
when you say that, it sometimes sounds a little bit like the pot calling the kettle black.
But
when it
I
comes
tell you
to
one thing. For the last 1 year, I have been monitoring what is happening in Karnataka, and the Congress had put everything for winning the election. That is why the High Command had given a free hand to the Chief Minister. Chief Minister was at the micro level doing all kinds of manipulations, including even buying up political rivals, to that extent, I was getting reports that he was giving money, distributing, favors, and also, kind of frightening and kind of all
Okay.
all intimidation tactics that he was using.